Time is 3 minutes gone past the hour of 2 o'clock, and if you are just having a rest time out there, I actually want to urge you, you might want to sit down with us as you are tuning to Unico Radio 103.5, and it's actually that time where we have to dive into the affairs of our nation, Nigeria. So it's not just another Monday. This is actually a checkpoint for the soul of our nation, from activities that's happening in the country down to Cross River State and even here in the institution. Welcome to another episode of the State of the Nation here on Unico Radio 103.5. That moment where we have to look at the affairs that is actually ongoing. If you are a Nigerian out there, I believe that you are aware that day in, day out, lot is happening in our country. I know it is only necessary that we definitely come out and listen to what is going on there, and also yearn our voice to the betterment of Nigeria, because we believe in the saying that says that someday, somehow, somewhere, the country will definitely be that which we or will be proud of. My name is Okon, Offiong the Catalyst, and like I said, it's the State of the Nation on Unico Radio 103.5. So sit with me and let's get to do this together. Of course, we will be starting on the international space. It's also necessary to let you know that there are ongoing reports out there that the United States of America are, thinking about bringing in Iran into a roundtable discussion so they could see how peace could return back to the Middle East. However, we've also gotten report there's a beautiful afternoon that the leadership of Iran under the new supreme leader, Mojtaba Kanemi, has come out to say that they are not ready to sit down and discuss peace with the United States of America, and this is coming in on the verge of the war in the Middle East entering its third week already. Just 1 week away from now, we will be seeing this war moving into 1 month, and it's not just something that we can just overlook that way. It's not just something that we could just undermine. Yes, for the fact that it's not happening in Nigeria, for the fact that it's not happening in Africa, does not mean that it does not concern us as the people, because day in, day out, we keep on seeing new development, new trends, and you see people always making reference to the war going on in the Middle East, and it is also necessary that we get to look into this very matter. So in the international space, this is one of the recent developments going on there, and if you've actually been followers of all the things that are going on there, you will agree with me that the current war going on between Iran and Israel, of course, which also involves the United States of America, is something that has really garnered a lot of attention from political analysts, people that that really love the international trend. So it is also necessary that we get to discuss these on the show this beautiful afternoon. Nigeria, and the promises she holds for us, and someday we would sing like the sun. Meanwhile, moving back down to Nigeria, down here, it's also it was an amazing weekend. You'll see. Sorry, I actually failed to say Happy New Week to you, and I want to believe you actually had an amazing weekend over there. It's while it was an amazing weekend, it was also another weekend to look at a country, Nigeria, and you get to ask yourself a lot of interesting questions. Some of the questions might actually marvel you. Moving down to a certain local government there, that's a Bakassi local government. We also had a report, and of course there is a viral video which is going on the media space, where we saw some so-called thugs, as people will term them, who went in and disrupted a congress that was actually about to be held by the African Democratic Congress, ADC. And of course, from the voices of the video, we had the leader and some persons on the background making lots of chants, saying that they do not want any other party in Bakassi apart from ADC. APC. And we saw in the video, we saw the structures of the venue, the canopies, the chairs, and it raises lots of concern in a nation whereby we are practicing democracy. Is this really something that we should sit down and watch? And also here in Cross River State, you agree with me that in as much as we have the All Progressive Congress in the helm of affairs, it is also not a state where we practice a one party system. It is a state whereby other political parties are allowed to go about with their daily and normal activities. Then why are we witnessing this in Bakassi? And of course, since this this issue happened, we've actually not gotten any feedback yet from the governments of the day as to this very issue. Is it that the All Progressive Congress are actually behind the disruption of let's not just say, because of course from the video we could actually say these persons were linked to the APC, because from the video we had a voice from the background which was saying we do not want any other party apart from APC. And it is necessary to ask ourselves questions. Who are the people, behind this disruption, and who are the people behind this chaos? Remember, it's the State of the Nation here on Unico Radio 103.5, and it will also interest you to know that I am not just here alone in the studio. With me in the studio, there's a beautiful afternoon. I have with me OBASE0YI Thompson. Good afternoon to you, Thompson.
Good afternoon, Offiong, the catalyst. Good afternoon, Malabites and Malabresses. Good afternoon, Nigeria. Good afternoon, Cross Riverians. Good afternoon to our very amazing people from Bakassi local government area of Cross River State. I listen to you carefully, and then I keep wondering what exactly must have warranted them to, do what they did. We talked about democracy, and of course, that is what we are preaching, at all times and always when we talk about democracy. So I begin to wonder why we have gotten to this point of our life, why we should have people deliberately, causing mayhem, hurting other people. And then I begin to ask questions like, now, this political party that went ahead to go and, conduct their own Congress, they paid people, and those people, they paid our brothers and sisters. They engaged DJs, they engaged, many other persons to make that activity fun. And they even engaged vendors who provided food, meals, and all of that. So why do you have to go destroy them? Now, these canopies, these chairs belongs to the same persons that you are, advocating for good life and all of that for. The state, don't forget, the state governor said is people first mandate and all of that. Yeah, and then the other day I was talking about something, and someone said that the governor can be in the entire places at all time. Well, you could remember that conversation.
Yes.
And then we keep asking questions. Up till today, the governor, the chief security of the state have not said anything, have not condemned this act and all of that. I know, and so it also brings me to the national scene, where things like this also happen. But we seem not to have the president saying anything, because after all, people say, oh, the president can't be anywhere at every time. So we ask, so what happened to the vice president? What happened to the deputy governor? What happened to the chief of staff? What happened to the commissioner of police? What happened to all these persons who have been arrested, who have been detained? For crying out loud, this is just a total damage to democracy generally. So if you do not allow people to also practice what they believe, everybody will not subscribe to what you believe. It's just like even in religious faith, we have a lot of churches in our streets. We can count millions and thousands of them in our streets. And so if you do not allow, that's why in Western nations we talk about religious freedom. So if you do not allow opponents, if there are no opposition in politics, then there's no need for us to call it politics. Okay, so there is no need. So you just go there and decide. That's the same reason why a lot of Nigerians are saying that come 2027 general elections, it's just going to be a walkway. If the ruling party does not want to see another political party, then the National Assembly should enact a law, should come up with laws that we only want one political party system. But here we have over 200 political parties, and we do not want opposition to contest. We do not want opposition to have gatherings and all of it. Is wrong. These oppositions are not foreigners. These are our beloved brothers and sisters, our neighbors, staying with us, living with us. So we mustn't subscribe to every. I have a particular family in my community back then. The senior brother belongs to the ruling party, and then the younger one belongs to a different political party. They don't quarrel in the house. They live peacefully. They eat in the same plate, and that's what it's supposed to be. Do you understand? But when it's time for politics, they tell you, "Hey, vote for this candidate. I vote for this candidate." They both bring the resources back to the home. So that is what it should be. Cross River State should not, because you're a APC state. Don't forget, before now, you belong to the PDP. And every other political party have always had their ways. So if PDP had acted this way initially, would APC have gotten this opportunity they have to be in the seat, in position today? So we shouldn't let that be. So because today you're, in the ruling party does not mean you're going to be there forever. If, the coins changes tomorrow, you have to defect to another political party. Don't forget, we've heard breeze of defections, and more are still coming on along the way. So this is absolutely not fair enough for human beings whose life today, you go to the same fuel stations, you use the same transport vehicle like every other person does, and you pay the same, you buy the same fuel product, you go to market, nobody changes market for you simply because you are a card carrying member of a particular political party. So I don't know why people are just inhuman to other humans. I don't know why you should actually raise arms against each other for no reason, because whether I like it or not, it's just like people who go for who involve themselves in communal clashes. These are lands that you were born into, and definitely you've heard of your great-grandparents who have died and left this particular piece of land for you. So why are you then killing yourselves for a plot of land that you definitely die and leave? So I think I really do not subscribe to the fact that when things happen, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria have nothing to say, the vice president is nowhere to be found, the senate president is nowhere to be found, the chief of staff to the president is nowhere to be found, nobody is saying anything, and nothing is just happening, and people do cause all kinds of atrocities and go scot-free. It shouldn't be so. This is democracy. Allow people to practice what they want to practice. Allow people freedom of gatherings, freedom of movements, freedom of expressions, and all of that. Don't forget, today, if there are lots of councillors from Bakassi who defected from, Labour Party, who defected from PDP to APC, and vice versa, and all of that. So why then are we killing ourselves for nothing? So I think those persons should actually be arrested. There are lots of videos that are trending online, and this is not really making sense. So we heard from the national, party leaders of the African Democratic Party, talking about ADC. And then they have said a lot of things, and then commended a lot of, brought out a lot of recommendations for the government to actually follow suit, because this is democracy. We shouldn't be subscribing to, people who are in authority feeling like, they have the final say, or it must be a one-party system. Nigeria can never be a one-party system, no matter what effort, no matter, what system of government, whoever is in power would want to bring forward.
This is actually one of a critical concern, and one of the big headlines that we really need to look into, that happens to be the the disruption of ADC secretarial commissioning in Bakassi local government, because just like I said earlier, the video, of course, that has been made viral, it's something that draws a lot of concern, because however, reports have not really indicated if any injury was being recorded in the scene, but it really raises a lot of concerns how we humans, of course, can just wake up or can just get directive if of course there was any, and we decide to to go and we showcase some act of some act of evil without even looking back, and you get to ask yourself certain questions. At the end of the day, what are you really benefiting from disrupting another party's gathering? Are you doing this because you want only your party to be in existence? And if only your party is actually in existence, what do you stand to benefit at the end of the day? That is why I feel that to an extent there is a need for political awareness business, and also political education. And when you're talking about political education, it doesn't just, fall down to belonging to a political party and voting in election and also being able to stand to contest for election. It goes it goes down to knowing the things that you are supposed to do as a person and the things you are not supposed to do. That you are a card carrying member of a particular political party does not mean that you should cause mayhem to another political party. That you are a card carrying member of a particular political party does not mean that you should go and jack ballot boxes for your party. That you are a card carrying member of a particular party does not mean that any other party should not exist in the state. Well, for crying out sake, for crying out loud, we are not practicing one party system.
And even this is why we are not having development in our society, because there are a lot of things. There are a lot of times I feel there should be check and balances. Now, when you have opposition, it helps you to to know where you have done right and where you have done wrong, and it helps you to repel yourself. It helps you to prepare. It helps you to stay organized and stay focused, knowing very well that there are opposition in what you're doing. So if you feel relaxed, feeling having this kind of belief, perception that after all, there is no opposition. After all, you return back to power second term. After all, your candidate will win. The society can never grow. Well, to the political class, that's not their business. It is we, the electorate, that are very concerned. We are supposed to say, look, we do not want this to happen. We do not expect this to happen. So this, don't forget that the likes of the governor, you can't see the son, going to, hijack ballot box, or going to destroy people's canopy, going to destroy people gathering and all of that. You won't see that kind of person there. Not to talk about our senators. Their children can never do that kind of a thing. They can't do it. So why are you allowing yourself? Is it because your parents or your family, are not, does not, they haven't make it known to you that you're useful to them? Because if you're useful to your family, you wouldn't involve yourself. In fact, sometimes I really look at my face, I look at my little body, and I feel like, well, I am so happy I don't have any scar in the name of politics, thuggery, and all of those things. So I don't know how people feel so excited that they look at mirror. The entire of their body is mutilated, just like the way some people will mutilate election result just so that their paymasters will win and be in office and all of that. So it's just so sad that things like this are happening. As local as that place could be, we should have expected people to to live in peace and harmony. But there again, to ask, were there not security team in that particular venue? What happened? Were they ordered to retrieve? Were they ordered to take a different stand and all of? So these are all questions that the commissioner of police would have to explain to the public, because these things are not really uniting the state. The state at this point in time is supposed to, have outgrown, Nigeria supposed to have outgrown this stage where you have to pick up arms against any other political party simply because they are not singing hallelujah with you in the same political party. It doesn't make any sense. And if you take a look, even in Bakassi as we speak, if you take a look there, you see the level of development there is so poor. But when we have opposition, it will help to accountability and checkmate excesses and all of that. So if we do not have opposition, trust me, everything goes, and it doesn't make any sense. That doesn't explain to us why we are having democracy.
Yeah. Talking about the current development pattern in Bakassi, local government of Cross River State, it's I think you're actually not out of the box. You're actually not out of the box, and for some reasons I feel that instead of we going out there, to fight another political party from being in existence, we should use that same strength in seeing how we can, call the government of the day to bring development to the state. Yeah, just like you talked about, having an opposition. Yeah, we can actually see for sure that any democracy without a meaningful opposition is a flawed democracy. And you cannot even talk about democracy when you do not have opposition, because without opposition is just as good as saying that such state is just a one-party state. And for the last time I checked, Nigeria was not a one-party state, nor practicing a one-party system. We have multiple political parties, and even if tomorrow or today a new political party come on board, it will definitely be registered. So that is to say that constitutionally it has been approved, it has been agreed that we can have as much political parties that we tend to have. And just like Thompson said, the political elite at the end of the day, they to an extent they're not really kicking against this, because in fact they even see it as an avenue for themselves, because they can just wake up today and decide to jump to another political party tomorrow. They might just decide to wake up the next day and jump to another one, as long as it will give them it will serve as a ladder for them to get to the position which they want.
And funny enough, this particular local government have been a PDP state, a PDP local government for a very long time.
Before now,
do you understand? And if the Labour Party had won in the state governorship election, it would have been a Labour Party. So what is wrong with young people? What is wrong with you? Why are you thinking that taking the life of another, justify why your paymaster should give you appointment and all of that? No. It is sad that
I think even going out to commit mayhem, do all sorts of evil acts just because you want to get an appointment, then I think for a reasonable person, that is not an appointment. That is just a compensation for the evil that you've just committed. And I tell people that
and there are consequences.
Every appointment is a transient. The person who gives the appointment today will not be there forever. A time comes whereby the person will no more be in the seat of power. And once the person is no more in power, it simply means that your own appointment also will not be forever. Now you get back to the grassroots, get back to where you were. What are you returning to? Are you returning back to to face the good work which you did, or you are returning back to face the evil which you did? And there's this portion that I so much love in the Bible for those that actually go to church, that says that the evil that men do, that do lives with them. So as long as you are alive, you definitely get to visit, or you definitely get to live with the evil which you commit today. So what am I trying to say, or what are we trying to say at the end of the day? These acts that was being perpetrated at Bakassi was a very bad one. I think on the social media we saw some
honestly uncalled for.
We saw some of the governor aides, of course, who came out. They tried to kick against it. But then, like we said earlier, that we've not gotten.
It is not enough. It is not enough.
Yes,
so from the national level,
the leadership of
from the national level down to the local government and councillorship, there must have to be these policies that is so stringent that you do not have any right whatsoever, to disrupt any other political party gathering for any reason or any purpose. Allow people the same privilege, the same constitution that gives you the right to actually carry out your campaigns is the same constitution that gives every other political party the right of gathering and all of that. So I think the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we know the kind of person he is, but irrespective of that, he should, as a matter of fact, call his party men to order that politics is not a do or die affair, even if people have perceived this current administration to be, allegedly. But I think it is quite important that we restrain, we play politics with restraint, knowing very well that these are human beings which are earnestly and automatically involved.
All right, our time check already is 26 minutes gone past the hour of 2 o'clock, and you're still listening to the States of the Nation. You're on Unico Radio 103.5. We'll be going on a short musical interlude, and when we are back, we'll definitely dive into other headlines that we have, and of course have a critical discourse about it. Stay with us and don't go anywhere. And the time is 35 minutes gone past the hour of 2. Welcome back to the flagship on Unico Radio. You are listening to 103.5 FM, the frequency that fuels the intellect. Of course, in the hallowed halls of the power, we are trained, of course, to analyze and to question and to seek solutions to issues that has to do with our country, Nigeria. So, a quick one down to another big headline that we have on the table this beautiful afternoon, and that has to do with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who have actually given the directive that they Renew Hope ambassadors begin the distribution of rice across all states of the Federation to support Nigerians observing Ramadan and Lent. Thompson, what do you have to say about this? You know, we've actually been talking about palliative. It doesn't seem that Nigeria will definitely be getting tired of palliative anytime soon, because year in, year out, we are receiving palliative, and you know, to an extent, it seems that, you know, the government of the day is really more concerned on palliative. In a viral video a few days ago, we saw a video where some ladies, you know, who actually received free palliative, they came out, they were praising the president. Of course, while we might actually call this, you know, a relief initiative by Mr. President, but then the fact that, you know, every time we are getting, you know, palliative instead of, you know, development. What do you have to say about this?
Well, I think, you know, basically, I've always been saying that Nigeria, whether we like it or not, I think the poverty rate that we are currently swimming on, there have been the latest statistics that has to do with poverty rate globally. Nigeria is topping, you know. Don't forget that it's sad that when we are hungry, you know, our brains stop and cease to work. You know, when we are hungry, we automatically become depressed. When most Nigerians are hungry, automatically, I don't know what they used to think any longer, because I think even water doesn't have any effect in the head, in the skull any longer, you know. Basically, I think at this point in time, it is beyond feeling so shameful that, you know, the only thing that they can deliver is to give sachet of, you know, rice, foodstuffs to, you know, Nigerians at this point. You know, it's just like what somebody will say. All this one are just see finish that, you know, the leaders currently have, you know, examined, have x-rayed, done a lot of research and concluded that Nigerians today, you know, once you give them food, automatically they have shut off their mouths, and then everybody, you know, walks around as if nothing is happening and nothing serious is actually happening. And this is becoming very unbecoming. And this is sad. So I think we're getting to that point where you walk in the street and they chain your hands and give you food, and you keep quiet, and that's enough. You just go back home and sleep. And probably you might not even need to go to toilet, because they will have to seal your anus so that what you have eaten would be enough for you. So I think it's just sad that we are dragging ourselves to, you know, at this point in time where our dear country is already going to that blink. But however, I think it's worthy of note for us as Nigerians to understand that at some point in time, our politicians currently, all they care and what they really care for, it's them returning back to power, you know, and they will do anything humanly possible to ensure that they return back to seats, as the case may be, not minding the previous campaign promises, not minding what they have said over now and all of that. So all they just care for is, I want to return back to power. And so, you know, coming out to say, oh, renewed hope. Don't forget that the former administration come up with, you know, the change mantra. And so this current administration has come up with renewed hope. But up to now, if Nigerians are actually feeling the renewed hope, you know, as the case may be, the president should not have anything to worry. Like I keep saying, there is no need going to buy all of these food stocks to share to Nigerians. Just cut down the cost of price of fuel. And trust me, things will return to normalcy.
You know, I think, okay. If I actually got right, don't forget that the air signs are for the the distribution of the so-called palliative is actually directly to to as a relief for those persons who are experiencing or who are actually participating in the Ramadan and also Lent. It's always been Mr. President's way of showing compassion and also showing love of course, he is still doing so. And we've also, witnessed this again. He has actually made, this announcement again. Of course, to persons of there who are, far away actually fasting, who are actually fasting. Now, however, this has actually faced a lot of critics, and I think it will never stop facing the critics because, especially in a period where we are approaching, a very big elections, of course, which is coming, few months from now, talking about the 2027 general elections, and we are still talking about palliative. This palliative is something that we witnessed under the I think the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari.
Yeah,
this
same
palliative led to
the NSAS protest that led to people breaking
down lots of destructions in Nigeria. This same palliative caused so many persons to lose their life.
Yesterday, this same palliative have caused a lot of commotion in Imo State.
This same palliative actually caused a stampede whereby so many persons lost their life. It's no more news, but it seems that the government of the day is actually let me not say it's not tired, but still have that same compassion of always coming up with palliative.
But
we get to ask ourselves questions. No, it's not. It's not just it's not about what Nigerians want, because I'm in Nigeria, but I wouldn't tell you that I want palliative. Yeah, in Nigeria, and I can't remember. I don't know unless if there is, you also tell us. I don't know if there was actually a time which you came out and you said you need palliative. And in fact, when you're talking about palliative, it's so bad that the Nigerian politicians have limited palliative to a bag of rice, a bag of beans, a bag of beans, and things that you can actually eat, and after then it's over. But I think that when we're talking about palliative, it should cut across just food items. There are other things that the government of the day can actually introduce to help the common Nigeria. Election is fast. Election is fast.
In as much as Nigeria is fast. I think the only thing the government can do to help Nigeria as it is, cut down the rates of electricity supply. Cut down the rates. Cut it down. How much are we spending when it has to do with electricity? How much are we spending? What is the rate of fuel and diesel? Cut it down, and allow it to be what you met it before. Trust me, Nigeria will work. You don't have to force people.
But in the issue of talking about in the issue of the fuel, we cannot compare the same strategies or the same plan which is used by the very administration compared to the last administration.
That is why we are saying put the right people in the right
administration we had a fuel subsidy, but this very administration we had removal of fuel subsidy.
So of what impact has the fuel removal been felt by Nigerians?
I think if you are talking about the impact of the removal of fuel subsidy, this takes us back to our respective state and our respective local government.
Okay.
Because before the removal of fuel subsidy, states were not, receiving much allocation like they are receiving now. Upon the removal of fuel subsidy, states receive a double of allocation that they received when they were still fuel subsidy. Now the allocation now being given to state, you now have local government now also receiving allocation directly, and this allocation are meant for development, and the citizens of such states, such local government should be able to feel the impact of the governance at the grassroots level, at the state level.
The last administration came up with these policies that we are talking talking about local government autonomy and all of that, how many governors were arrested? How many governors were ousted out of their position?
Yes,
how many governors were? It becomes a huge problem. And so why can't this particular administration?
The last government came up with the local government autonomy, but it never saw the limelight. But under the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the local government autonomy, came to limelight.
So
local government, we're given autonomy. Okay. You can actually operate. Location comes directly from,
the federal account, the federation account.
You get your money and you get to do what you have to do. But some states report as it that some states they still control the local government. Some states still receive the allocation of the local government and still determine what goes to the local government and what doesn't go to the local government.
If you look at of 36 states in Nigeria and counting, I can tell you for sure that the same 36 states, I don't think there is any state governor that is allowing the local government the autonomy that it really deserves. None of these guys will definitely want to do that. Don't forget, this started in the past administration. And this is the reason why most local governments, you go there and you ask yourself, do people still exist in this local government? What is going on? There are no development of any kind. All they do is remain in the state capital. If you go to most local government, you can't even see the chairperson of that local government in that local government. You come to the state, all of them are already gathered in the state. It boils down to the local government councillors. Their role all is played in the state capital. They don't stay in their respective, council wards, to check what exactly is going on. Do you understand? So it becomes a huge problem. See, Nigeria today, it's going to take us more years, if only disintegration does not come into play. If our leaders do not sit up to know that, look, there is no amount of wealth, wealth that you're going to have that will going to buy you an eternal life. So what's more important is do the right thing. You have promised people, you have promised your citizens that when you come on board, you're going to provide steady electricity supply, and if that is not, you shouldn't be given a second chance. You've promised you're going to equal naira to $1, and up till today, it's even becoming the worst. We'll look at fuel, productions of fuel and all of that. You promised refinery, and up till today, the National Petroleum, none of it is working. The NNPC is not working. Okay, if you look at most of our refineries, the modular refineries that we have, none of them is working. Okay, so if you look at the Dangote refinery that people say, oh, this is the Messiah refinery, up till today, we are still having ups and downs. Today, you tell us you want to sell fuel for 1,200. Next tomorrow, you tell us 1,300. Before you know, you bring it down to 1,205 naira, and the next day, that's how you keep tussling Nigerians. Despite the fact that the country itself have been loyal to you. Let me use that word because everything, backing down to materials for house constructions, food consumptions, not to talk about mechanical consumptions and all of that. You are the only person the government have decided to give license to, and yet you are not satisfied with how much you have, but rather you are making so much. I don't understand where all of these monies are going to. So I think I am so confident that someday, somehow, we're going to have leaders. And of course, I am going to be in that part of that, leadership trail that we will go back. Just the same way these past administrations have dig deep into Abacha's loot. We will definitely deep down, all of this looting that have been, going on over these administrations of recent times. It's so sad that even up to today, it's just like the likes of Udupani local government area where we have the governor of the state coming from. We've been crying and yearning for, the realization of that particular road from Otupani down to Itu, and up to today it has become a death trap. Now people who have used that road just a few days ago have been crying and saying, if we allow this road to be what it is, come for the the next raining season, trust me, it's going to be so devastating for people who are going to apply that road. Not to talk about this same Bakassi that do not want to see opposition play its own politics, whether they win or they don't win. Allow people to play their own politics. If you go there, you see the underdevelopment that is going on in that place, and you ask, do they have local government chairman? Yes. Do they have councillors? Yes. What impact are these guys doing in that place? Well, it is all about Probably most of our local governments in our state or in our country, what they do is come over here, give you food, buy drinks, and that is enough. The rest we don't care. If you go to these local governments, a lot of them do not have a functioning primary healthcare center. Not to talk about primary schools, institutions in those places are totally not functioning. You go to classroom, you ask, is this the kind of place that children are learning? Because their children are honestly not schooling there. Their children are honestly not, interacting with those kind of places, and all of that. So you don't expect them to fix those places. Now, if you go to where their children are actually schooling, trust me, you could even feel the AC, you could even feel everything. Maybe they will be feeding them 3 times a day and all of that. So it's as sad as that. So I think it is wrong for anyone, whatsoever position you find yourself, to be fighting for things that are of no use and that have no importance.
All right, so it's 51 minutes already gone past the hour of 2 o'clock. Just in case you are joining us now or you've been with us, you've been listening to the State of the Nation here on Unico Radio 103.5. My name still remains Okon, Offiong the Catalyst, and with me is OBASE0YI Thompson. Meanwhile, also, it will interest you to know that the total sum of 1.894 trillion being the February 2026 Federation account revenue was being shared to, has been shared to the federal government, state, and, the local government council. And it will also interest you to know that, a whooping amount of 1.894 trillion is actually the allocation that was being shared across state, local government. So like people will always say that it's actually high time where we have to fall back to our grassroots, we have to fall back to our state, and hold our representative accountable. We're not talking about our representatives, talking about our respective state governors and also our respective
local government chairman, councillors, senators, House of Members. What exactly are they doing with all of this money?
You can actually name them. Now, we also understand that the House of Reps, just like Thompson mentioned, senators, they also receive locations which
for their
are
constituencies,
supposed to be used for their respective constituency, for their respective senatorial district. But at the end of the day, the question remains, what do you see? I think while we are approaching towards another critical period of the year, talking about the 2027 general elections,
they are storing the money to keep and buy palliatives.
Yeah, we need to we need to wake up as Nigerians. We need to ask ourselves one big question: what do we really want? What do you really want? Maybe for some of us, we might actually be we might actually want palliative, but I think our life yes, but I think our life has actually gone above a palliative, because whether we like it or it can't sustain you for a month. It can't even sustain you for
even 2 weeks. A month. We're talking about
especially if you happen to be someone with a family.
With families. And funny enough, you see all of these persons who are going around, they have families. I keep asking, how do they survive? How do they survive when you go?
It's a grace of God.
If it is the grace of God you're surviving, then you must allow other people who want better things for Nigeria to have assembly, to meet, and also negotiate how they will be able to bring good leadership to Nigeria. I don't know. This is the reason why sometimes I think, should we return back to pure traditional institution, where if you come and make a promise to the gods of the land and you refuse to fulfill, just like we watch in our Nollywoods and all of that. The thunder from nowhere gets you striked and turn you down. That's what it should be. And somebody say, what if they go to manipulate the gods of the land? I say, well, it would be so difficult if to do that.
But Thompson, if you actually saying this, don't forget that tomorrow you might actually get to be in a.
I want to be in the corridors of power.
Leadership position.
I will be in leadership
and imagine
position.
Now that
I will say what I know I will do. I will say what I will know I will do. I have started it already.
And for sure, most of these are leaders. That's the same thing they said. That's the same thing they said when they were not in power.
No, I think that perception is wrong.
Okay.
When we have that kind of perception, trust me, we won't get it right. You know, that's the same thing that the likes of Buhari came on board.
Of blessed memory.
Yeah, people actually trusted his word because they knew what he did when he was in power before now, and so because of that, they gave him that ample opportunity, knowing that. So for me, I will not subscribe to people should feel like you must have to make unnecessary promises. There are promises that a lot of presidents, we know that they can't fulfill it. So I think that's what it should be. We need to still return back to the drawing board to say, okay, you want to go for chairman, what have you done when you were a councillor? You want to go for governor, what have you done when you were handling so position? What are the things, what are those impacts you've been able to create? So if we don't get it that way right, so we shouldn't give the opportunity to serve. We shouldn't keep trying wrong people at position. We've seen some former governors returning back to the Senate, former governors returning back to this and that. It shouldn't be, and that shouldn't even happen at all.
All right, thank you so much, OBASE0YI Thompson. This is actually supposed to be, a very lengthy conversation talking about former governors who are actually posed to returning back to the corridors of power. Just day before yesterday, we witnessed, a certain former senator and also former governor, of course, who was actually sharing bikes in a particular senatorial district. Of course, amidst rumors that he might be returning back, he might be seeking re-election back to the Senate. However, we'll definitely get to talk about this when we come back your way. But for the now, we definitely going to say a very big thank you to everyone, of course, who made our time to be with us on this very amazing and wonderful program, The State of the Nation, here on Unico Radio 103.5. And it's right about that time where we have to draw the curtain to when we back your way again. Thank you so much, OBASE0YI Thompson. Lots of headlines on our table, but of course, time will not permit us, to go further. When we back your way again on Wednesday, we'll definitely do this together. Like I keep on saying, remember that security is everyone's business. If you see something, try as much as you can to make sure that you say something for a better Nigeria, a better Cross River State, and a better society at large. In all